had many a good session this summer, thanks to him, and more of them.
He knows how to put his food away.
Luke Dempsey has done so much for Westmeath at the moment that we have him canonised in this county.
I think he's a great trainer and we can even win the All-Ireland final with him this year. Look, there he is!
Big boss man, can't you hear
I hope so.
when I call?
Winning the All-Ireland in 1995 was massive in this county, and the joy and elation that was in the county, people can still remember back to it, and I feel that the present campaign going over the summer has rekindled a lot of memories of 1995. At the start of the year, when myself and my selectors, Jack Cooney, Ollie Keating and Sean Heaven met, our primary goal was, number one, to improve the image of Westmeath senior football, and number two, to move from Division 2 of the National League to Division 1, where we felt the younger players playing at a higher level would improve their standard. And in the final, we played against Cork. They were red hot favourites, and when we went in 4 points down at half time, I really put it to the Westmeath team at that particular juncture that we could either A, move on to a higher plane, or B, stay where all Westmeath teams have been, that is, beaten easily in a big match. And the players responded magnificently in the second half.
They are Division 2 National Football League champions.
We drew Meath then in the championship, and we felt very confident about playing them. And on the day, we played excellent football until that last period, and that is a learning process for our young players, that the game isn't over until the 70 minutes, or in most cases now it's nearly 80 minutes with the extra time. So it wasn't a case of Meath beating us as much as our players probably beating themselves on that day, because in the last 5 to 10 minutes we made a lot of mistakes that were to prove very, very costly.
And Meath have come back from the dead once more, and Westmeath will have to go into the loser's draw.
The next match after Meath was a very tough assignment in Wexford, and we etched out a draw on that occasion. We defeated Wexford easily enough in the replay, and went on then to defeat Limerick and then Louth. So the players have been fantastic in the response to the Meath game, and I said at the outset, when I was asked my opinion on this qualifying series, that it would help a county like ours, because the more games we get in the summer, the more we can learn about our players, and that has been the case as we now move towards the end of July and are still in the championship. At the start of January, we appointed Ger Heaven as captain of our team because of his experience and of his great play on the field. And he has gone from strength to strength as we have advanced.
That ballot falls for it in the centre. The long ball.
We're playing Mayo on Saturday. They have players who have seen success and seen defeats in All-Ireland finals. They have been very unlucky in the Connacht finals.
Expected Sligo in the past.
In Westmeath, we have to start a tradition for senior football, because there is no tradition and hasn't been. We have no Leinster titles or All-Ireland titles to our name. So this year, through the qualifying series, it has been a great help in establishing a tradition of winning championship matches. As a group of selectors, we set a target of winning a Leinster title within 3 to 4 years, and in that time we would hope to have established a tradition of winning and then go on and achieve what we set out at the start of the year, an elusive Leinster title.
Pat Hurley has followed Cork all his life. Man and boy, heart and lungs. Trapped wind never sounded so sweet.
I'm going to matches since the 50s up to date. And I started there in the Cork Volunteer Pride in 1969. And I'm playing them since, like, I'm trying to play them anyway, like. I go down through the winter, the league matches, even rain, hail and snow. You see the genuine supporters down there. dash of the ashes is my sport all my life. And when I like to see hurleys getting broken. To know the sparks all around, to know that is. The big ball is not, I like it, but what I'm saying, it's not the same to me as, one game of hurling is better than 1,000 football games, you know what I mean? Behind the goal, I used to be standing up in the high wall there, like, and I was awful up there in gale force winds, and it's not advisable for anyone to stand up there, and I hope they don't today. I'd respect them if they didn't. Lovely, Michael. I tuned the pipes there, like. They have a couple of points down along with the lads and a couple of points and march up behind the goal. Of course, they'd all start cheering straight away. The piper was here again. Like. He never died of winter yet.
And the 112th Munster football final gets underway. Cork won the toss. They opt to play from left to right in the first half. Decent pass ahead. They play it on the ground still. Opportunities in Cork have gone into the very, very famous position. And it is Joe Kavanagh who's got the goal. There are only 4 minutes gone.
Every time we get a score, I blast up. You know, so I hope to be a lot of scores today, like, you know, that I'd be playing through the whole thing, like, if I can, like.
Here's Brendan Ger O'Sullivan.
When they hear the boys of Fairhill and all behind the goal with the crowd behind us, like, you know what I mean? It builds their spirit straight away, you know what I mean?
And when that is given, that's the end product, and the teams are level.
When they win, it's always the boys of Fairhill up the whole road, we usually play. In all the years I'm going to matches, I don't think I ever got hassled. Only in Dublin of that sergeant. And I wish him the best of luck. I'm sure he's a Kerry man, like. There's me marching down into Crow Park, and the sergeant comes along, he waves at me. And I waves back at him. Next he said, "You're not going in." I said, "I have my 2 tickets here to go in." "You're not going in." So what I done was, marched up to the guards' barracks, and I asked the guard inside the counter, would he mind my pipes for me? Says he, "What's wrong?" So the sergeant below wanted me in the gate with me pipes. "What?" He said, "You're a thick cock, man," he said. He said, "Go to the other side." I went to the other side. And he ran after me there too. So I went back up to get me pipes and marched back down to Crow Park, and the sergeant was there after the match, and I blasted around him and marched away, and I got the better of him.
It's left to Dara O'Cinada to kick Kerry into a 3-point lead.
Even when we lose, we still play, we still keep the morale up, and we still play the same tunes, like. We won't be playing the Rose of Tralee anyway, you know what I mean, like.
Kerry retain the Bank of Ireland Munster Championship. They win today by 3 points.
I love the GA, I love it, and I said in Dublin that I'd pack it up after last year, but I only said that after a couple of pints. I'm nearly 60 now, and I hope to be playing him at 100 years of age, like. We had a piper below us, he was 85 and he was playing him, so I might be able to follow his footsteps.
Keith was known as the enforcer, and then I was nicknamed Robocop. So, yeah, there was a certain section of the supporters did, you know, tag on to that. And I suppose being in the guards, kind of possibly might have been a little bit apt, but sure, you know, it's a good laugh. Playing Meath at any stage is always tough, but that again being the first time in the championship since '91, there was a lot riding on it. It was a very tight game for the first half. I don't think it was that high scoring. There was a couple of points between us for most of the game, but we had played some good football in the first half, and we got a couple of good scores in it, and we knew we'd have to do exactly the same and probably a little bit more if we were to keep our noses in front. I think we were about a point up midway through the second half, and we won a ball in the middle of the field and got it through to Charlie, and Charlie buried in the back of the net.
Jack Sheedy bursting his way through, giving it to Charlie Redland. Oh, what a goal! Now that is magic.
That gave us a 4-point cushion, but as in the previous meetings, like 4 points against Meath really didn't count for that much because they were you know, they were always going to come back at you. They're a strong team and they never lie down. And as it transpired, that's exactly what happened.
Out the field. Is it another equaliser? It is! We're into injury time in Croke Park.
John O'Leary took the kick out and Pat Gilroy went up and caught it. Laid it off to Niall Guyden and Giddy took on the Meath lads and got closed down and he laid it off to Charlie. And as the ball just dropped down at Charlie's feet and Charlie just side-footed it across to me. He gave it to me and I'm sure like his thoughts were, Jesus, who am I giving it to now? Because I remember in the dressing room afterwards he said to me, I could see you, but I was trying to, I could see Courtner outside you. And all I wanted you to do was to give it to Courtner. For God's sake, give it to Courtner.
Charlie Redmond, well blocked down by O'Malley. If he never did anything else, he did well to get that one. And Jack Sheedy sends it over. Incredible stuff in Croke Park.
Charlie was surprised, as I say, most of the fans in the hill at the time, because I wouldn't have been renowned for my shooting skills at the best of times, but it went over and like that was it. The whistle was blown just more or less straight after that.
The referee blows the final whistle. Jack Sheedy scores the winner in injury time. Dublin get revenge over their arch rivals and surely make up in the sweetest way possible for the defeat 2 years ago.
Sligo's victory over Kildare was their first outing to Croke Park for 26 years. Now they're back for the second time in 3 weekends. Eamonn O'Hara sends us a postcard from the salad days.
I started in 1993. I was introduced, myself and Paul Taylor and a number of other lads were introduced as 17-year-olds. So we started young, but in saying that we came into a team which had plenty of experience but had no medals or no trophies to show for. So in doing that, our tradition of the Sligo team being a weaker team, you know, we had nothing to live up to. We just went out and played football. Within the county itself, we've got a very strong league set up regarding the club football. Unfortunately, our success at county level hasn't been as good as compared to other counties around Connacht and around the nation, but it's just a case where, you know, we have plugged the exact same way, we've trained the exact same way as every other county. Unfortunately, we didn't have the success. Hopefully in the long term that, you know, we can be the stronger team in Connacht instead of those teams, you know. The introduction of the qualifiers at the time, I didn't agree with it. I thought it was, I suppose, it was a cop-out excuse for making money, I suppose, from Croke Park and everything else. But now, looking back at it in the position Sligo are in, it's probably the best thing since sliced bread, but we've benefited from it. So too has Westmeath. And that is great for us because ourselves and Westmeath traditionally have been beaten in the first or second round of the Connacht and the Leinster Championships respectively, so we have got an extra chance.
Final score, Mayo 112, Sligo 111.
Thankfully, our following game after being beaten by Mayo was Carlow. We had to go down and do a job, which we done, which was great. Our second game then was, I suppose, a dream come true, was to play Kildare in Croke Park. And in my case personally, I'd never played there, and it was a dream come true for me and for all the players because none of us had played there.
And the referee, Brian Crowe, is searching and he has given him a red card.
At the time of sending off, I didn't see it because I was tying my lace and I couldn't believe when I looked up and there was a cheer and I saw a red card in the referee's hand. I didn't know what was it about. So it was just a case of not to panic.
Sligo are down to 14 players. Great running by Eamonn O'Hara. His support outside, chance of a point, brilliantly taken.
I think the fact that everybody had wrote us off at that stage, we just said, listen, play the football that you can play and see what happens. I don't think anybody dreamt that we could win, you know, at the time.
The referee blows his whistle. Sligo have conquered the Lily Whites.
I'm looking forward to going back to Croke Park again, but against the Dubs it'll be a different atmosphere. They'll bring their own, which is, you know, they've got such an unbelievable atmosphere of they create, it's beyond belief. And, you know, I'm looking forward to it. Again, we have to treat it as any other game. Dublin will be the hot favourites. as I said, they left the Leinster title behind them, so they'll be out for revenge, and hopefully they'll be looking to win one or two of these games and get another crack at Meath, maybe in a semi-final or a final.
Next week on Breaking Ball, a little bit of